ways. We need to find some scalable tools like that. My second thought is that in absence of that, you need to type those things into a Word document and then be prepared to just copy and paste that into all the other things.
That makes sense.
And maybe that that Word document might just grow. So you might put those 10 in the Word document, and of course you'd save it. And around here we save everything with the date, so that would have today's date, tomorrow would have tomorrow's date. And this time next year, that Word document may be 400 pages long. You may be using Excel, although I doubt Excel is going to copy and paste into some of these ad mediums like we'd like it to. And so you would just, and you might eventually date that the January ads. Okay, so in February you can start with page 1, because you don't want to have to go to page 206 every time you get to post an ad. But after you've created those 10 ads in your Word document and you've placed them in all the appropriate mediums, then the next day you would put 10 more. And you'd probably put a date right there in the Word document, this date. And you would know that everything from there up you already used yesterday. The beauty to that, though, is now you could search that document for Nissan engine, and you could go find a Nissan engine or Nissan ad that you ran 3 weeks ago and copy and paste it onto today's, change 5 or 6 words and a little bit of different stuff, upload a different picture, and that would help you keep you from having to create another whole ad. What you don't want to do is use the same ads over and over and over and just change Nissan and Mazda and a few parts, because that's called duplicate content. You're probably not going to discuss it, but Google will penalize you for duplicate content because there are machines that will do that for you, and Google knows it. And they don't respect it because they know a machine probably did it instead of a person. They want real stuff that's timely, that was hand prepared, that's responsive to the readers.
And some of your directors won't allow you to, like Craigslist will kick something with this.
Yeah, you get the same title in there twice, so you're supposed to second one.
So yeah, like that is.
I don't think title is necessarily even the issue.
Well, it looks at the title and the content, but that would be a good chance to use the different variations of that same keyword that you found using the research.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing too. We were talking about this last week, and I don't think we know. We know that Craigslist bounces our ads when we try to run too many on the same day that look the same. We've tried using different email addresses, but that doesn't work because Craigslist knows our IP address. We figured that out. It even sends you a message that says, hey, it's the same IP address. So, and does that lead to the router or to the computer, Josh? Part of the IP address is going to be to the router. So Craigslist will probably know even if we're in the same office.
Yeah, because you're going to have, the IP address is going to be the same except for the last 2 digits, so it's going to know where you're at. Or you're
Somebody goes, oh, it's simple, just do different email addresses. We know that sometimes duplicate, we don't know what their algorithm is, but I'm sure they have some tools, just like Google does, that look at the density of the ad, and that 72% of the ads are the same, and that the words that are the same are this, and so. And then in addition to that, it came from the same IP. We don't know all the tools they're using. But I'm also convinced, because I read an article in Wall Street last week about how Craigslist is eBay and Amazon's single biggest competitor right now. I never would have dreamed that Craigslist would give eBay a run for their money. But it's really growing. And it's growing so explosively that the people at Craigslist can't change the servers fast enough, or ad servers, because today they had 70 million hits, and tomorrow they have 80 million. Well, that's 10 million more hits in one day, and their servers are having trouble keeping up with that. They're having to upgrade the servers. So I'm convinced they probably also have flexible algorithms within their system that shrink the pipe. So what they do is either a person or a computer says, hey, we're getting too much traffic, we better limit ad submissions, but let's tighten the algorithm so that if 50% of the content matches, we bounce your ads. So yesterday, we know this for a fact, we have placed ads on some days and it let us do it. And the very next day it wouldn't, or the next week. It would not let us place those same ads on the same day, just like we did the prior week. Something changed. And we don't know if it was, on the internet, the big computers in the sky, so to speak, can actually shrink the bandwidth. So like if there's a hog somewhere taking way too much bandwidth, they can actually, figure out who that is and just shrink his bandwidth way down and make room for everybody else, electronically, digitally. So I think there's some of that going on there. So the bottom line is we don't really know, but as long as you're doing incoming cars, you're probably not going to have any trouble. And of course, you're going to want to renew some of those too.
Yeah.
Because if you're not renewing them, Rochelle was telling us in the apartment business, they put their ads on 4 times a day.
Yeah, we would do it 4 times a day.
Because-
7 times every day.
Because there's so many people looking for apartments that if you didn't post your ad in the last 2 hours, you're not even on page 3 of the
Oh, no, not at all. It would bounce. I could post it an hour and a half later, I'd go ahead and get ready to do a new template, do a new posting, and it wasn't even on the first 2 pages.
And we know the ads will run for 30 days, but by the second or depending on how many other people are doing the same thing you're doing.
I know on Craigslist there's a lot. On the other websites you mentioned, I don't know. So.
Yeah, well, and you say there's a lot, but I'm not convinced there's a lot of salvage yards running the same content you are. There are a lot of auto parts on there,
Yeah.
but when you talk about certain keywords, I think you could actually hang at the top for a week, maybe more. But what you should do is go back, of course you'll see your ads in Craigslist, the ones you placed last week, because pretty soon you're going to have 147 of them there. And you can figure out which ones are the best and renew just those. Renew all of them if it'll let you. There's no downside. I mean, it takes 20 seconds or 10 seconds to renew a Craigslist ad.
How do you propose to find out which ones are the best?
Well, he'll have some idea because he knows what sells. By the way, I might suggest if that process became pretty onerous, just renew them without pictures. They won't be as valuable without pictures, but they're not as valuable anyway because they're 3 weeks old. And you've gotten new stuff since then. But that's not to say they're not valuable at all. And finding the pictures and reloading them is what's time consuming. Just renewing the ads not time consuming at all. We do know that ads with pictures do better, considerably better. And we know at the real estate part that like we went a week without posting any ads because Kimberly didn't get to it or for whatever reason. And then we posted them and their phones blew up. Literally blew up. And I think Keith's kind of had the same stories, and so has Paul Delaney, that when they put stuff within minutes, I guess people are just sitting at home. I don't know.
We get all kinds of, hey, I saw your car on Craigslist.
You just put it up there 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, or next day, post it Friday, Saturday, or half the people at Craigslist. I know with us, we had to put a stock number on all of our ads, so we knew what they were talking about. What's the stock number on that? So they could tell us we could get the parts that they're looking for.
Good.
So,
Okay. You going to show them how to do an alt tag on a picture?
Yeah, so we'll jump back to the blog posting, and what we're doing is inputting a picture, and that's this little button here. This is insert picture. So we choose our picture, and this is that alt tag I was talking about, alternate text. So right there would be your chance to put in those keywords. Now the alternate text, the user doesn't see that. That's just for the search engines. The caption, that's what the user sees. So, in here we could put Fort Worth, boat storage. So we put that as the alternate text, and then in the caption, you could put store your sailboat, or whatever. You could put your caption there. You have some more options here. Image size. If you wanted to resize, if the image was large and you wanted to resize it, you could resize it to a smaller size. Layout. So that would be kind of where you want it to align next to the text or whatnot. And then effects. If you want to round it or whatever. So you just hit OK, and there it is.
You could post a picture of a Nissan Sentra and you could say the alt tag could be 2003 Nissan Sentra, okay? And that would be a correct alt tag because that describes what's in the picture. And you understand that the reason we need alt tags is because Google can't read a picture. And that tells Google what this picture is. So, but you missed an opportunity because what it could have said was Nissan 2003 Sentra salvaged for parts at all imports. Okay? And so, all imports kind of important. It's an important keyword that you want to get out there. Parks is important because people that are looking up, stop and think about it.